Thanks for joining us from the Ohio AgNet, Voice You Know with the News You Trust studio. Sponsored by BASF, where you can count on the trusted performance of Ellevo seed treatment to protect your soybean crop. I am Allison Kinney. Now let's take a look at what's making agricultural news. China's state-owned agri-food company called China National Cereals, Oils, and Feedstuffs bought 3 cargoes of U.S. soybeans this week. 2 trade sources told Reuters that the country's first U.S. soybean buy of the season happened shortly before a summit of leaders Donald Trump and Xi Jinping. The deal calls for a December-January shipment of about 180,000 metric tons of soybeans, the first purchase in months. However, traders say they don't expect a significant resumption in demand for U.S. soybeans after several big purchases of South American soybeans. Bloomberg said grain traders have optimistic that China and the U.S. would eventually reach a deal this week, which pushed soybean prices higher in Chicago. However, they are still cautious about how much China will actually purchase during this season. With weak Chinese soybean meal prices, some still question the profitability of soy imports for Chinese crushers, even if tariffs revert to pre-war levels. Now let's head to Indianapolis, where the Ohio AgNet coverage of the National FFA Convention this week is brought to you by Wilmington College. Explore your options at wilmington.edu.
We continue our 2025 National FFA Convention coverage by talking with some of the state officers representing the Buckeye States, and it's so good to have 2 of them here with us because they're staying busy. It's not just a time for them to come and talk with their fellow FFA members from Ohio and around the country, but also to get some business done, and that's what we're going to talk about right now. Please introduce yourselves.
Yep. Hello, everyone. My name is Taylor Johnson, and this year I'm honored to serve as the Ohio FFA State Treasurer.
Hi, everyone. I'm Bella Nardecchia, and I am honored to serve as a Vice President at Large for Ohio FFA this year.
As you can tell, there are no strangers to interviews. I've done quite a few of those. All right, Taylor. All right, Bella. Let's talk about what has National FFA Convention been like as a state officer.
Okay, so for my team specifically, we rolled in on Monday night and we had our kickoff meeting and a little bit look into what the week would look like. And the past 2 days have been very committee work heavy. We've been working with our committee groups, getting our reports prepared to go to the board.
Yes, we've been working on lots of different topics that will come to National FFA in the next coming years to propose to the committee just for the betterment of National FFA. And we've also gotten the opportunity to cheer on fellow Ohioans. We have lots of different Ohio FFA members competing today in CDE and LDEs, as well as a national officer candidate.
It is quite a thing, and congratulations to all those that are competing here on the national stage. Love to continue talking about that student-led organization aspect of it. It's really not just good times in the blue corduroy, but it's good times, but getting things done in committee work and more. Yeah. Any specific issues that you guys are facing, having to think about with your fellow leaders?
So in my committee specifically, we're a mix from all over the country, delegates and state officers included with that. And what we've been working on is cultivating the leadership programs that National FFA holds. So that's your WLC, your Next Gen conferences, and just kind of looking at ways that we can further continue to improve those and make them better for those next generations.
For the Ohio AgNet, I'm Joel Norwood. Our coverage of the National FFA Convention brought to you by Wilmington College. More information at wilmington.edu.
Now let's check in with our weekly update from the Ohio Soybean Council and your checkoff dollars at work.
There's been a lot of good news for U.S. soy lately thanks to the work of the Soybean Checkoff. According to Jim Sutter of the U.S. Soy Export Council, typically this news would have made top headlines if the China situation was not taking all the oxygen out of the room. Currently, U.S. soy exports to other destinations other than China are looking very solid, and while China remains absent, U.S. soybean bookings and global demand paints a far healthier picture. According to the USDA's weekly export inspections report, U.S. soy exports excluding China are up 46% compared to this time a year ago. That reflects both competitive pricing and disciplined market diversification. Futures markets are gradually inching higher. The November soybean futures recently closed at 1034 versus 992 last year. That is a 4% increase that has not attracted the attention it should have, again being eclipsed by the China news, and cash market signals are improving as well. In the Pacific Northwest tributary areas, basis levels have firmed, and some North Dakota processors are reportedly paying premiums for nearby delivery. Now, while political obstacles remain behind the scenes, market fundamentals are quietly asserting themselves, and that's a story not being told in the news. Global buyers are continuing to value the high-quality, sustainably produced U.S. soy, and price indicators suggest the world still needs more of it, not less. Today's update brought to you by the Ohio Soybean Council and your Soybean Checkoff.
Let's take a look at the markets. Brought to you by Seed Consultants, simply better performance. Learn more online at seedconsultants.com. December corn closing in today down 3 3/4 at 4.30 1/4. March corn down 3 at 4.43 3/4. May corn down 2 3/4 at 4.52 1/4. November soybeans are up 11 at 10.91 1/4. January soybeans are up 13 1/4 at 11.07 3/4. December wheat is down 8 at 5.24 1/4. July wheat is down 4 1/4 at 5.63. October live cattle are up 3.87 at 2.35.27, and December lean hogs are up 5 cents at 80.82. Thanks for joining us. You're listening to the Ohio AgNet.